I'm after giving this flange a go with the wire brush as well, because to be honest, a lot of the paint that was on it was actually it was all kind of painted over, kind of dirt and stuff, and I did behind it there as well, so that'll be able to be primed, and the front of it's looking good there now. So that's that. Brilliant. I'm delighted with that. The whole belly just heating up there of the radiator, kind of covered with the cloth, and I did a job on the manifold. There's videos on that as well. So I have the hop shaft out again, and I want to get a stud put here and another one. If this is 12 o'clock, I want one at 6 o'clock, or if this is 6, I want one at 12. So I want one of these to screw in, screw down in there. Pliers with a round grip on it like that is best over it. Vice grips should go in easy enough, otherwise it's too hard to get everything lined up. You've got a brake back in place, you've got a shim, you've got this thing and it's not light, and it all has to go into the axle housing. So I want this to go in right down to the very bottom. Studs should be right down to the bottom. That's why I took my time cleaning up cleaning them all up. And then if I have to get the vice grips, give it a quick nip. I do have that whole file down, so I don't want to go damaging that. So I'll get the vice grips and give it one last nip. Bit of cloth onto the vice grips. Get it back as far as you can. Get a right swing on it. Now, there's 2 different lengths of thread on this, so you have to make sure that you have the right one. So you have a short amount of thread, and that is for the nut, and you have a long amount of thread, and that is the stud that goes into your axle. So I've got to check and see, one or two of them are actually wrong. So I'm going to correct those. So I put these in. If you put in the short stud in here, you'll end up with a big load of threads sticking out the back of your axle then, and it just doesn't look right at all. And then as far as strength goes, obviously it's not going to be as strong, because you're going to want these studs right in, so you can get as much of your nut then that goes over them screwed in. There we go, right down, and that's exactly what we want, right the way down. So I'm going to go and look through these and make sure. I think that one is wrong, so I'll have to take him off. That's strange, because I didn't actually take this nut off. I'm going to have to swap him. I think it's wrong, yeah, it is wrong, yeah. So there we go, that one's right now. Any more of them wrong? Is that one wrong? I have to check him and take off the nut and find out. It's worth doing it now as opposed to later. That one's definitely wrong there, yeah, so leave him out. Get him sorted. That one's wrong. So someone definitely was in here. Don't know about that one, I'll have to check. That's right. That one seems to be 50-50. So maybe some of them are different. But anyway, I want, I'm trying to think, well, I want more than 2. Maybe I'll go for 3 or 4 maybe. I'll put in 4. This is just for lining things up, and I'm going to have to set the end float and the bearing, so I do want a few of them in for that. I want to give everything a good squeeze, because otherwise you'll be getting false readings. So they do say in that, it says in the manual have 3, but if you put in 3, I mean, one side then is going to be looser, so I'm putting in 4, at least that way every 90 degrees has a stud. It will make it a little bit harder for lining things up, but I think it'd be the best way to get the best reading on it. By reading I mean when I put the shim on there, the more, because this is a roller taper bearing, it's on a taper, when I put a shim in there, what it's doing is it's taking off pressure. This is lifting up its pressure, so if I take out shims, it's going to put more pressure on that bearing. If I put in a shim, it'll space it down and there'll be more end float. So what they say is about, you're looking for about 0.005 of an inch end float if you're not replacing the bearings. And these bearings look and feel perfect, thankfully. And if you are replacing them, they reckon about 0.008 of an inch. And that's where Ferguson went to, but these are basically, they look to be the very same, and I'd say it's the same principle now. And just like that, right down. That's just the way this has to be now, if you ask me, when it comes to studs. So I'll take off another one of these. Anything that comes off, easy to use. And that one was wrong as well, because that's a longer thread. So interesting. Anyway, put him in there. This might need a rub of it. No, I won't. That might need a rub of a dye because it was sticking out and the weather got at it. But now at least we'll be left with a nice clean end on it there. That'll screw. The screw or nut on there, no hassle at all. So I know a lot of this particular video is about cleaning up studs and bolts and nuts and washers and all that, but if you don't do it, you are going to run into difficulty, because the mark from the vice and stuff, and people using vice grips over the years, what it does is it makes it very hard to screw these in. And if this doesn't want to screw in and you've gone and cleaned up your nut, what will happen is this will screw in easy, as you can see, because I don't need to use any tool like a spanner. And what happens is you'll be left then with a load of thread. This will only be gone in 2 or 3 turns, and it won't be as strong. So take the time, clean everything up, get them studs into the very bottom. And for the rest of them here, clean up these threads so they go in easy. Don't clean up these, just clean up all here, so that this might cause a bit of a drag, and that'll actually screw it right into the very bottom. So the last job I have to do with these is hit them with the wire brush, and I'm actually going to hit them with the die, and then I'm going to hit all these with the tap, so that they all go in easy, because it's too fiddly going messing with them afterwards. And the next person that looks in behind here, when it's all put back together, will see that there's no big loads of thread sticking out here and a nut way in, and the next one different, and the next one after that different again. Lovely. So that's 4, and that means that when I come along with my backing plate, when I sit that up over there, that'll be able to go straight onto the axle, just to put my shim in, that's all. So now, that's why I do that. Otherwise, you have a brake rod. You have a brake rod sticking out through there as well. If that lad there, he's flopping around the place, you're trying to line that up through there. And this thing, then you have a shim on it and it's getting damaged. Literally, put them in first. So this is the kind of attention to detail that I give, because it only takes a second. It'll make my life a lot easier. Give them the quick cut, and the same with the axle, and she will thank you for it. Look what you end up with, brand new. So each one of them, because doing this means this is just going to screw straight into the bottom of the threads. Straight away. A little bit difficult just to get it started. Once you get it started, Perfect. Right, that's the side. One side for starting. Just hard to get it. A little bit difficult to get it started. That's all. Once you get it started, it's grand. Picks up the threads then. So you get a far more even pull then on the axle then, and on the shim and on the bearing and everything that goes with it. It will make a difference in the end. For the sake of 30 seconds per stud. So I'll keep doing that, and then I'll come back when I'm running the tap through the axle. Now just with the axle here, just give it a little clean up with the tap. 7/16 UNF. So everything screws in nice and handy. That's perfect. That'll make life easy. Pity you can't put this on it because it'll obviously hit there, but aye, don't panic. And this is the tap just for cleaning, it's not the one for really cutting. Usually you use the one for cutting after this, so that's going in lovely by hand there. So if it is, run it on through. Just to make sure that that'll do it. Out she comes. And now if we take one of these that's cut, these are normally hard to screw and you'll never get them right into the bottom without doing this. And now it's just getting stiff there at the end by hand, so considering the nut is good and stiff on it, it should just thread that in the rest of the way. So I'm happy with that. If I wanted, I could run this through a bit more on each one of them just to make sure that's going right in, and that probably sort that. Just getting stiff there, so we'll run it through and see. If we do it on this one and see if we manage it, I'll do it on all of them. Yeah, it's just a bit stiff there. No harm. See, what probably happened here was this was one of them that had the nut screwed down too far and the threads of the stud weren't going through to the bottom, and you get a bit of corrosion then. So this is all that's going to help. Help get that stud right into the bottom. Sure, there's some fitting for the drill. You could actually do this for you, but I prefer to do it by hand. Get a better feel. And that's come through there, so we'll take him out. We'll do the same test. Do that same test again, straight down to the bottom by hand. So that's what I'm after here. So that'll screw right down to the bottom, and then this will screw in just as much as it needs to with the spring washer behind it. You do that with all of them, you'll end up with the same amount of thread sticking out, a very small amount. It'll look right, it'll be strong. You won't be able to get it any stronger. So I'm not going to put grease on that until I check the end float, till I get the shim or shims. I've loads of new ones there as well, so a selection of different thicknesses. So again, that won't be until I get seals fit, until I get the other side done as well. So this one's screwing in lovely there, just at the very end of it there. Getting a little bit tight. And again, this same story here, probably was where a nut was just screwed in too much. The stud wasn't put back, screwed back down. We couldn't screw back down because of that. That's definitely tight there now. Must look for a tool that fits this, for a ratchet or something. I hate using these things, pliers and vice grips on it, taking the square edge off it. Ah, that's sort of winning that there now. One of the best things you can invest in when it comes to these Fergusons and Massey Fergusons, the early ones, is a set of these dies and taps, because otherwise you're just damaging studs and nuts. And to be honest with you, can't go into a hardware anywhere around here and ask for a new stud like that. They won't have them. It'll only be metric. Lovely. So that's that. So I'll go finish the rest of these, and I'll get back when I've something else to show. Well, it's just as well I check these. Threads are stripped in this one. I'm able to cut new ones. So it'll be two-staged. This tap cleans it out, gets things started on a bit of a taper, and then the other tap cuts it from start to finish. So just luckily I decided to do it, because again it would have caused issues when I was screwing in my nicely re-threaded studs. I don't know what went on. So I'll get back when I have that sorted. Also, when I was taking this out, that the studs on the bottom, two of them were fairly bad, as in they're very, very loose. So I say this is the one that was on the very bottom. So I'm going to change this when I'm fitting this. This is going to go on the very top. I'm going to mark it there. Because when you think of it, it's going to be a lot less pressure on the top than the bottom. When you lift the tractor down off the jack, it's going to want to pull away from the axle in there, and it's going to want to push into the axle in here. So we may as well put that at the top. Another option I could do is put a nut and bolt through it, but there's 12 of them and I am after cutting new threads. But just to be safe, that's going to be the one 12 o'clock at the very, very top, where it's going to less pressure, no pressure is going to be on it actually, no pulling out pressure, compared to the bottom 6 o'clock. It'll want to come away from the axle. So threads are looking brilliant now. They were looking very, very dodgy. So these are the kind of things, you know, you just need to check. You know, you just need to check each one of them quickly, if nothing else. You know, run the tap through them. Should run through most of them by hand. As I said, hopefully it'll never have to be taken apart again. I can't see why it would. So what's it taking? 30 seconds per each. You know, it is going to pay off. So yeah, brilliant. Check the rest of them, and we'll get on to the next job.